It did
Okay.
take a lot of time, but it was on my time. I built it around my life. And I think that's where that human
Mm-hmm.
first ops started. I had to think, how does this fit my life? Because I'm not
Oh
willing to
yeah.
sacrifice school. I'm not willing to sacrifice being present for
Mm-hmm.
my kids and holding those boundaries. And that's a lot of what I talk about and teach now to founders
Mm-hmm.
on the like Adroitly side and then also founder moms on the founders at home side.
Hey everyone, this is Treasures at Home, where home and business come together. Let's get started. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Treasures at Home. Today's guest is Mikel Dyer. Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, I can't wait to kind of get into the story of what inspired you to start your businesses and everything. But before that, why don't you give us a little bit more insight into who you are, how many kids you have, and we'll go from there.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
I'm just always enriched by listening to your podcast, so it's fun to be a
Oh,
part of
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
But yeah, I'm a military wife. My husband is active duty, so we move a lot. That's another
Mm,
addition to this story. And I have four kids. I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. We
mm,
have been homeschooling the whole time. I used to call myself like the accidental homeschooler, which is funny because I've been called myself like the accidental entrepreneur. And now I'm like, no, we're getting rid of that. We're intentional homeschoolers and we're intentional entrepreneurs, right? So some mindset shifts there and just like the Lord convicting my heart of like, no, this is not an accident.
Mm-hmm.
This is intentional. And
Yes.
maybe you didn't see the whole picture from the beginning, and I probably am still not seeing the whole picture, but this is intentional, right? So, yeah, I'm the owner of Adroitly Co. is my main business where I serve clients, and out of that came like my heart and my mission of Founders at Home.
Mm,
Just talking to
okay.
other moms and saying they're starting businesses or closing businesses because they didn't know how to do both well and with intention and
Mm.
constantly feeling like they're dropping that ball. So, out of that, Founders at Home was born, and now here we are.
Okay, so how old were your kids when you started?
Um, okay, so I actually owned a different business and sold it in 2023. And that's how Adroitly and
Wow.
Co. came to be. So I started my first business, which was a homeschool printing company, end of 20 in the beginning of 21. And I realized I loved being a business owner. It was so fun and stretching in the right ways.
Mm.
I didn't love working with like mass market customers. We were printing all the time and I didn't really like printing, but I loved the building and the strategy of the business. So we actually sold that in 23 and I realized I love operations and how a business ticks. So I started Adroitly and Co. So that business is still in existence, which is fun to see it out there serving homeschool families. And so now I work with Adroitly and Co. and that started in 2023.
Okay, that's fascinating. I honestly do not know which direction I want to go. I don't know if I want
I
to talk about the
know.
printing company or okay, how do you pronounce your new company?
Adroitly and Co., which my
Uh,
oldest son actually helped me name. He is a word guy and he also did
okay.
my logo, which is super fun. But adroitly means like cleverly and thinking outside the box. So that's how we come at
Wow.
operations because we see the founder first and I design the business around that, not according to the business books.
Okay, that's fascinating. So let's start with the printing company because that was your
Yes,
first one. You're homeschooling your
absolutely.
kids. You've got young kids at the time. And how did this idea even pop into your head?
So I am a new homeschool mom. I ordered some curriculum. I needed it printed. I didn't want to think about it, right? And I placed it through another online company, and it took 16 weeks to get to me. By that point, I was having another baby. I was forgetting things. I was like, why is this package in the mail? How did I forget about this? All these things. And then I thought, there has to be a better way. Like, we need to serve
Mm,
homeschool families better. Like, sometimes you forget something and you're like, I need it now, right? So I just wanted to provide affordable and really quick service. Like, that was the goal. So I was like, hey, husband, I love you so much. I have this idea. And he is like my ultimate champion. He's like, okay, let's think about it. Let's pray about it. okay, let's do this. So we bought a really nice printer. I put together a website and it was an experiment. And then people started coming like, yes,
So
we
what
need
did you
you.
print?
Think about any homeschool curriculum that now offers those PDFs that sit on your computer and die.
Hmm.
Those. They upload them, we printed them, we would bind them, and we would ship them out. So get kids off screens. Then, like, a lot of online cookbooks and wellness guides started coming out in PDF. That was kind of like that era. So then we ended up doing
Yes.
a lot of like, I would have an order and it'd be like math curriculum and this metabolic guide to your nervous system, like would be all in the same order. And that's really how we grew.
So, like, for example, if I was on somebody's website and they're like, download, buy
Yes,
this e-recipe book, right? And I download it, but I don't want to print it.
right.
I would contact you guys and
Yep,
y'all would print it for me and then ship it to me.
exactly.
That is genius.
Yes. So that's what we did. That's how we started. And like I said, that business is still in existence. Four Pillars Printing. I'll give them a shout out. A sweet Christian couple bought it that lives in the Pacific Northwest, and they started and they ran with it, and it's growing beautifully.
So, how did you market that? How did you start getting the word out?
I started contacting people via Instagram to other homeschool moms that were putting like educational resources out there. And I was like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. I'm a homeschool mom. I would love to give you like an affiliate discount or
Mhm.
like you plug me and I'll print your stuff. And so we like just built relationships, with other people
Hmm.
who were building businesses from home. A lot of them were moms, a lot of them were homeschoolers.
Mm.
And just they were like, oh, I would love like people ask me all the time, I want a printed version. They were like, we don't want to deal with it. So they then had a solution for their customers and they had a personal experience with me of, oh, I know Michael's got this. If they have an
Oh,
issue, they had somebody by name to recommend.
the power of networking
Yes,
and stepping out of the
absolutely.
box and getting
Yes.
yourself out there and letting people. Okay, so when you first started, were you like, oh my gosh, like, how are we going to do this? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Or were you like, oh, I
Yes.
got this?
Well, I was kind of like, well, I think I could probably learn how to put a website together. Like, we had no budget. We're a military family. Like, I'm very
Preach.
pregnant. Like, like all these things. Okay, well, we have some like that COVID money sitting around in bank account. Let's buy a printer. Let's, do things like
Hmm.
that. And so we got creative and I said, okay, kind of like no harm, no foul. Let's try it. And I just started putting it out there and talking to people like, oh yeah, I think I can do that too. Yeah, let's do
Hmm.
that. And just experimented with different things and was willing to give samples to people and just give it a try.
Yeah. So did that take a lot of your time?
So that was the beauty of printing. Like it did start slow, and I feel like I can look back and be like, oh, the Lord is so good. Like he grew in my business, but like at the rate that I could, handle it. Um, I mean, my husband was also a blessing and helped, and he would work his full-time
Hmm.
job, and we would be up printing late. I would be nursing a newborn, and he would be helping with, like, we did it together. So,
Uh-huh.
it did
Okay.
take a lot of time, but it was on my time. I built it around my life. And I think that's where that human
Hmm.
first ops started. I had to think, how does this fit my life? Because I'm not
Oh
willing to
yeah.
sacrifice school. I'm not willing to sacrifice being present for
Hmm.
my kids and holding those boundaries. And that's a lot of what I talk about and teach now to founders
Hmm.
on the like Adroitly side and then also founder moms on the founders at home side.
Yeah, that's valid because, before we step into something, we really need to ask ourselves, like, are we able to fit this? What would this look like coming into my life, not my life
Yes,
surrounded by it?
exactly.
I actually have a couple more questions about that. Did you
Yes.
bind it yourself? Did you bind the material yourself?
Yes, we had a couple binding options, a couple printing options. So it's like you could pick black and white, or you could pick color. You could pick basically like what's your budget? If you needed this material printed, I wanted it accessible to families, right? I wanted them to be able to use these resources.
Mm.
So we would three-hole punch it, and you could add a binder, or you could have the spiral bound. There's like all different options.
Yeah.
And as we grew, we like gave more options. We listened to our customers.
Oh.
What do you want? And we grew in that
Mm.
way.
So how did you know what to charge? I mean, because you're printing, you're
Yes.
binding, you're shipping.
Yes. So luckily what we were able to do, I mean, my husband is a math guy. I have this crazy idea. I think we can do this, girl, right? So we make a really good team, and he did all of the numbers of, okay, this crazy formula of like, okay, if it's black and white, we charge this. If it's color, we charge this. And we did it by page number. So every document, we had like a calculator on the website. You enter how many pages, and
Hmm.
it gives you calculations based off your selections.
Okay, I am so fascinated by this. I think that is so great. I can't tell you how many times through the years that I've done like the downloadable versions of
Yes,
curriculum, because sometimes you get them for free or it's a very
right.
small price. And then we get into the year and I'm like, oh, I gotta go print that out. Or, oh,
Right.
y'all just read that from the computer. And I don't like, especially when my kids were younger, I didn't like them always sitting in front of a screen reading or whatever.
Exactly.
And so there, I don't think I ended up having just to buy the curriculum and having them ship the notebook. But just to know this, I think that is incredible. Okay.
Yes, I feel like it's just such a need that was in the community, and it made
Hmm.
homeschooling that much more obtainable. Like it eliminated that. So for me, it was never about the printing, like it just
Yeah.
made that one hiccup or that accessibility financially, because a lot of times it's a much more affordable price.
Yes.
Families were able to do that.
Great. Okay, so you sell that business,
Yes.
you start your new one. Okay, so how did that one develop?
So I just realized I love how a business ticks. I think really I love how people tick, right? And how like the Lord
Mm,
wires us. So what happened was I realized in this process, that's the part of the business I loved. Like I kind of was like, over printing any more materials. I loved the need it fulfilled. I loved connecting with
mm.
families. I loved growing the business. So in that, I thought, well, that's called operations, right? Like, what is operations? And basically, like, educated myself on that. Like, my background is not in business. My degree is in psychology. Like, I've been home with my babies my
Mm,
entire life, adult life.
yeah.
So to me, I had to go educate myself, but I realized I naturally am wired this way. So I don't need all these credentials. I'm coming into businesses and I'm realizing, hey, who are you? What's your life? I'm seeing the founder, and then we're designing everything around that. Any of the
Mm,
information we need is out there. And that's also what I like teach my kids in homeschool, right? Like I, as a homeschool mom, don't have to have every answer. I just have to be able to teach you how to find the answers. That's the best education I
mm.
can give you. And so I feel like I come at that approach on the operation side for business as well.
Yeah.
So that looked like freelancing for a little bit, learning some things, adding some certifications, and now we're really growing the business. And our heart's really to hire other work from home moms, military spouses, give that
Wow.
flexible freedom to them as well.
Yeah. So give me an example of what your services would look like.
So we kind of do this unique operations approach because I'm realizing people really don't like the term operations. So I'm trying to get outside of that a little bit. But really, what it looks like is in the early days, we come in, we learn about your business, and then we carry your vision. So I help you define
Mm,
what success looks like to you because the founders I'm working with, it's not like, oh, I want to double my income, or, it's like, I want to maintain my income and not work Fridays, right? Or I want to maintain my
hmm.
income and work half day.
Right.
It's these flexibilities around maybe it's homeschooling, maybe it's a military wife. Like there's
Hmm.
different
Yeah.
metrics of success. So
Yeah.
we do
Yeah.
that and then we say what needs to stay, what needs to go, what do we need to streamline, who do we need to bring into the team? And I
So you
help
look
with
at the
every
whole
step.
picture.
Oh, holistic ops. Like we really zoom
Hmm.
out. And I think that's what makes me unique. Like I'm not a VA, not to bash VAs.
Hmm.
Like they're needed, but if you need somebody to look at your whole business, a VA is not the
Hmm.
right person. You need to
Yeah.
have really defined goals and really defined
Hmm.
what you need them to own. Otherwise, you've probably heard it before. Oh, I hired a VA and I was working more than ever, and I felt like I was just always telling them what to do and kind
Hmm.
of babysitting.
Yep.
Well, if you know the foundation, you know what success looks like, map out what they own, then you fully
Hmm.
hand it to them, they can run with it and they thrive and you thrive.
Wow. Okay, so with that being said, how do you balance when you're dealing with clients and having to homeschool? Do you have certain times blocked off for each thing?
Yes. So this is actually something I really teach with founders at home, is balance is a myth. Like we are not aiming for
Mm.
balance. Because I like to think, that the visual picture of an actual scale and balance is everything's equal. When in your
Hmm.
life has everything been equal? You're a mom with
Hmm.
multiple kids.
Yeah.
Do your kids get equal time every day? No, they
Mm-mm.
don't, right?
No.
Is there anything in your life that's equal? So I try and tell moms, like, get out of that mindset
Hmm.
of everything has to be in balance. I think you need to be in control of what that looks like, right? Oh, right now is a growth season at home. I have a daughter who's struggling with X subject and I need to invest a little more time there. Okay, you're going to prioritize that and you're going to know that your business, like maybe it's not in a growth season, maybe it's a steady
Hmm.
season. Or hey, we're actually going to be a push at business and we're going to put that focus there and no, we're not going to add any new subjects right now. We're just going to
Yeah.
keep the status quo
Yeah.
in homeschool, and that's okay, right? So
Hmm.
it's about setting those boundaries on your time and prioritizing. So for me,
Hmm.
yes, there looks like there's time blocks. I live in Hawaii, which gives me this unique time difference thing of with clients. So for me, I do my meetings in the morning early before my kids are getting up because that's mainland time.
Yeah.
Then I do my homeschool lessons in the morning, and
Hmm.
after lunch is my work time, which my clients are all in bed, so I have uninterrupted deep work time, and it's glorious.
What
So
time
it's
is it
just
right
setting
there for
those
you right now?
boundaries. It's 9:20.
Okay. Okay. It's
Yeah,
2:20 over here.
I know. It's a weird thing when you realize like
Yeah.
the time shift, like I'm just starting my
Yes.
day. Yeah.
Were you doing your printing company there in Hawaii?
I was not. We were currently, so we were in New Orleans, Louisiana, and then actually
Okay.
moved while owning the company, which we also was illuminating that military families should not own industrial printers. Just there's your nugget from the podcast. Don't move industrial printers as a military family. And then we moved to North Carolina, and that's when we were like, we don't want to move this business again. We're gonna
Yeah, that's
explore
valid.
other options. Yeah.
Okay. That is the beauty of like doing these businesses from home is if you have to move, if you're a military wife, if, things happen. And so these things should be able to just pick up and go with your life. Like we were talking about,
Absolutely.
they're a part of our life.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I'm like,
So,
I don't separate it out. I'm fully mom and
yeah.
fully business owner at any given moment.
Yes. So how many clients do you currently service right now?
I'm currently serving about six. And so it ebbs and flows how that functions. And we're looking to bring more team members so that we can better support and what that looks like. And so that's what we've been hearing from clients. They love the strategy side,
Yeah.
but they want that like ongoing continuity. So we're kind of bringing that into the fold and currently
Yeah.
training new team members.
That is great. I mean, that's how you know growth is happening when you have to bring in team members.
Yes, exactly. Which is an exciting thing. I love like that
Mhm.
teaching at the homeschool mommy, right? Like teaching and equipping other
Yes.
people to serve clients well, because of course they're under our
Yeah.
Adroitly umbrella. We want them to serve well, but then also just like having that confidence in what they're doing and always nurturing and educating.
Yeah. So how did you initially market your business?
So a lot of it was word of mouth. I did have connections from the homeschooling company of like,
Hmm.
or printing company, from, being in the world of business owners that were homeschool
Yeah.
moms or just different, maybe women in business might be more accurate to say. And so I kind of started there. Hey, I'm doing these things. And a lot of them were project based at first and learning
Mhm.
skills and what areas of business and my methodologies. So a lot of it's been referral, and then now we're really diving into the land of marketing, which as an operations person, I can say is not my favorite. But there are gifted people in the world that I can hire to help me. So I'm thankful
That
for
is
that.
true. So if you're wanting to start a marketing company, maybe you should reach out to Michael here.
For real. Yes, please do.
You
I know.
can
I'm always
offer
like,
beta
I don't
things.
have to be like the strength of everything in the business. I have to know my
Yes.
strength and know when to hire
Yes.
others. So I think that's like
Yes.
a downfall of like a lot of entrepreneurs is having that I have to do it all. That's not true.
It's not true. And we should honestly speak into that because I think there's a lot of people who feel overwhelmed by starting because they see it all. They see,
Yes.
oh, marketing, oh, I've got to create, oh, I've got to build. And there is an element of that, but let's just speak into that for a bit of like, debunking that mindset.
Yes. I mean, I love that. And speaking to homeschoolers, there are a lot of people who are probably in that mindset, right? As a homeschool mom of
We do it
how many
all.
people have you heard that like, oh, I could never be a homeschool mom
Oh,
because, right?
yes.
I have to do it all. I have to know all the things. That's not true. So if you've stepped
Hmm.
into that role and maybe you had hesitations there, if you've had stepped into that role and had hesitations, and now you're thinking about starting a business or shifting a business, you've
Hmm.
overcome a lot of those same mindset shifts already. That's
It's true.
absolutely applicable to the business side. Like there are resources out there. You just have to know how to find the resources.
Yes, that's a good starting point. Know how to find the resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask the
Don't be
question.
afraid.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of saying, I just don't have the money for that right now, or I don't have that in the budget. I mean, that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. And it's that stretch goal. Maybe that's your definition of success. I want to have
Mm,
enough freedom to hire marketing. If I don't have
mm,
enough financial freedom to hire marketing, that's my next goal, so that I can grow to that next goal, right? Like
yeah,
build that into
yeah,
what you're working for.
yeah, for sure. So, what piece of advice would you offer somebody who is wanting to actually start something from home?
Oh, that's a good question. I would just say, like, start messy and like let that inspiration,
Mm,
you know, carry you. Like the Lord stirs
start
that in
messy.
you,
Hmm.
like for a reason. I did know nothing
Yes.
about printing, but it was what was needed and it was like stirred within me. And then I
Yeah.
knew nothing. And I feel like the Lord brought me there, not because
Hmm.
I was meant to be a printer my whole life, right? And like maybe you are. But for me, I think he was saying, look, you can do this. Okay, well, we're going to push that aside because like now you're supposed to help business
Hmm.
owners, but you would have never had that confidence to go to here. So just start messy. Whatever is
Hmm.
stirring, take that one step. You don't have to know
Yeah.
the whole picture. He
Yeah.
rarely gives us the whole picture, right?
That's
Just,
true. It just
yeah.
enough like gives us the faith for the next step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes,
So,
like, it's just barely enough faith, and that's okay. Like,
no.
just take that step, right? He wants
Yeah.
to stretch us and show
Yeah.
himself off of how he can show up in the story.
Yes. There's a scripture that talks about a measure of faith. And so
Yes.
just sometimes it's small and sometimes it's
Yes.
big. Yeah, we're each given
Absolutely.
that. Michael, what is one lesson God has taught you from building a business while being home?
Yes, absolutely. So I guess we can kind of go back to those strengths and weaknesses of we don't have to know it
Mhm.
all. So for me, let's say my strength and my weakness is I am a doer. Like I see action and I want to take action. And sometimes that looks like, run, 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 fall to
Hmm.
the ground, right? And that is not what the Lord wants from me. And I have learned that when
Hmm.
I'm feeling that, say you're running and can't catch your breath, right? He's like, hello, I'm here. I want to
Hmm.
help you. So I think it's always like taking it to the Lord. Like, is this mine to
Yes.
carry? A mentor and business coach of mine, said, hey, what have you picked up that he never intended you to carry? Like, and that is true for home and for business. How many things
Hmm.
as moms do we start to own and we're like, hold on, wait a second. This was not mine to own, and that's okay. And same as
Yes.
as a business owner. So I just try to build it into my weekly rhythm, like that pause or that rest or that check-in.
Hmm.
Um, just is really needed for being a business owner.
Yeah.
I think getting outside that hustle coach culture of we don't always have to be doing more. Sometimes it's that
Hmm.
pause that leads to the growth.
Oh yeah. I think as homeschool moms, we're notorious for, you know, we we juggle everything. We're in control of everything, right? And sometimes we have a hard time letting go. And so we need to do like some self-evaluation, some self-reflection
Yes.
of what needs to go. We're just so good about like we juggle it all, the home, the curriculum, their education, just all the things that
Yes.
sometimes we just need to pause and go, okay, what am I holding on to?
Right.
I was just telling a friend this week, I was listening to this message and I was like, it convicted me because I was like, I'm still holding on to grief that happened years ago that I
Yes.
haven't fully grieved. And I'm like, but sometimes you just get so busy of spinning
Right.
and doing it, like you said, doer, go, 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 do, that I sometimes feel like the Lord just wants to come in and bring healing when we just stop and just slow
Yes.
down.
Absolutely. And I've just seen that time and time again in my life, in my motherhood, and my entrepreneurial journey. I also think it's really important to model for our kids. Like we can pause, we can rest, we can be
Hmm.
playful. Like I just think it's so
Hmm.
important. And every time I do that, I see all this fruit in my business side as well.
Yeah. Yeah. When my kids were little, they'd be like bouncing or energetic or anxious about something. And I would just pull them all in the living room and I would just say, okay. And I would put on some like kind of worship music. And I would just say, okay, I just want you to close your eyes. And I want everybody to just take a deep breath. And they would, and we would just be sitting there. And I'm like, do y'all feel that peace? And they're like, yeah. And I said, okay, everybody put your hand on your heart. So they would just do that. And they were like, little like your kids' age. And then after a few minutes, their whole countenance would just you could just see the peace of God over them. And then I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, we're so busy. I've got teenagers now. I've got
Hmm.
kids working. I've got kids coming in and out. My son earlier was like, hey, I'm bringing a couple of buddies home from after the gym. And I'm like, everybody clean. And so like we're
Right.
so busy. But I was thinking about that the other day that we got so busy that we haven't done that in a while. We haven't just stopped and go, okay, we need to just check back in with peace.
Absolutely. Yes, I think that's so valuable. And just like I said, a lesson that I
Yeah.
learn over and over again. The Lord is so gracious to be like, hello, I know we went over
Hmm.
this recently, but we're going to review. Let's pause.
We're gonna review.
And it's so
That's
good for
you said
me
that like
and for my
such a
kids.
homeschool mom.
Right.
Excuse
Yes.
me. Stop.
I
Love
know.
that.
Like,
Oh my
hello,
gosh.
guys.
Well, Michael, do you have any other last piece of advice?
I think just go where the Lord is leading. He's
Yeah.
so good and he is leading towards good things. He's going to teach you
Hmm.
good lessons. But if you're feeling that stirring towards business, towards homeschool and quote unquote doing it all, like he's already helping you carry this. He's already in it. So if you're just feeling
Yeah.
that stir, I think be obedient and also make it fun and make it restful because that is part of the story too.
That's so valid. Very good advice. Okay, so how can my listeners get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram as Adroitly Co. or Founders at Home. So depending on what you're looking for, two different places. And I am going to share a code for our Founders at Home mini
Ooh.
course. And
Okay.
it's just going to be welcome for anybody who's new. Come join the
That's
community. I try and make it really affordable and just welcoming for where you're at in your journey to encourage you that you can do both well. And balance is a myth. So get that out of your head.
I love that. So I will put all those links down in the show notes. And for those who are interested, we'll add more detail of what you're going to be getting as a part of this community. And so thank you for that discount code. I
Yes,
really appreciate that so much.
absolutely.
Okay, last question. What are you guys
Yes.
having for dinner tonight?
Oh, what are we having for dinner? That's good. Well, last night was Taco Tuesday because it's the one thing my kids don't argue about. So it's probably going to be leftover Taco Tuesday because we are running in five different directions tonight. So, and no one's going
Nice.
to argue with it. It's the one meal a week that
That's
everyone
right.
is happy.
You will eat it and you will like it.
Yes, with joy, right?
Yes, my kids, I mean, they wake up, what's for dinner tonight? They come home, what's for dinner tonight? And
I
I'm like,
know.
I hear that all the time. And it's like,
Yes.
sometimes it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. And I'm
I
like,
just
it's
wonder,
fine.
like, I'm so thankful for this, but no, you don't actually know what hunger is. My 5-year-old, I am so hungry. I'm like, no,
No,
you
you're
you don't know
not.
what hunger is. And I'm thankful for that. That's not lost on me. But
Yes.
girl, if you ask for another snack during your brother's baseball game.
Oh, I know. I've had to get to the point where we're trying to be like more of an ingredient home, like where we
Yes, love
make a
that.
lot of homemade things, but it gets hard when I have kids who are always hungry.
Yes.
Always wanting to eat. And then we'll
You're out
leave
of
like today.
ingredients.
Yeah, we're out of ingredients. Mother, we don't have anything to make anything with, but
Yes.
like for us sometimes like with sports, like right now we're in spring sports. And so we'll leave the house around 3 and sometimes we won't get home until after 8, 8:30. So I'm like,
Exactly.
pack food, like you're all responsible now, pack food.
You've got
So
this. Yes,
yeah, we're not
I feel
stopping.
that.
We're not stopping for French fries, kids. Come on.
Exactly.
We're almost
Exactly.
home. That's what I told him too. I was like, you don't have to pack a snack, pack leftovers. We'll just heat them
Yes.
up or something. Pack a
Yes.
sandwich,
Yeah.
you know.
It's all in the fridge. It's accessible to you, I promise.
It is. But no, they want, can I have a chip? Can I have a bag of chips, please? Please. I'm like,
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, sure, go ahead. I don't know. It's just one of those
Yes.
things like pick your
It is
battles. I'm
the
not going to die on
forever
this hill, but
struggle. I know.
it
It will be the
is.
forever struggle.
It is. Oh my gosh. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being a part of Treasures at
Yes.
Home today. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me. This was wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. So, guys, remember to let your light shine before all men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Until next time.